So I wanted to do a little tips and tricks for beginners because this is a kind of game, if you are like me, that you're gonna start and you realize, oh no, I should have done that. So you're gonna restart and say, oh no, I should have done that, and you're gonna restart 3 and 4 times. So I'm gonna save you at least one or two of these paints, even though it's the beauty of the game. But still, when middle-aged gamers, we don't want to spend 3 or 4 hours for nothing just to restart. So here are the 4 tricks I have for you. First of all, in Manor Lords, you have to understand that you don't have the usual character. Okay, you have a 200 population. That's not how it works. It works in families, of course, families of one man and one woman. At this stage, I haven't seen that yet, but there's no kids, right? Your couples don't make kids, so each time you want to grow your population, you have to do so by having a great reputation, and then people come in, a bit cano. And so you have to be careful with your families because it works much more against the storm in the fact that you create like a woodcutter camp. You can assign families to it, and then you have a hunter camp and you assign family. But you have to make sure that you keep always some families unassigned because these unassigned family are not homeless and workless people. They are builders. They are the people who build everything, so you need at all time to have unassigned people. That's very important, and it works very much like an against the storm. So that's the first thing that you need to be careful about. Second trick, very early in the game, you don't have access to farms. This will come much later. So you need to hunt animals. And what I like about this game is they try to make it quite realistic in the fact that if you hunt all the animals in the resource patch around you, that's it, right? You don't have any more animals. They can't reproduce. And if you hunt animal to extinction, that's it. You don't have any more meat, and you're not gonna last until you can make farms. So very important, you have to set a hunting limit. For instance, set a hunting limit to 10 animals, so the population of animals will not go below 10 and they can reproduce, and then you can have a steady supply of meat, even though, that's how it is. So it's very important early game. Third advice is building houses. So to build houses, you have to stretch them across a piece of land, and you have to. So not very intuitive at first. So listen well. You have to stretch your house pretty long, because if you stretch your house pretty long, at least the marker, it will create a backyard for your house, and it's important, especially as your village develop, because in this backyard you can assign a hobby, let's say, for the family living in this house. You can make them have a vegetable garden like carrots or barley or whatever. You can have them have goats. You can have them have chickens, and it will generate a passive bonus for your village. Like, you will passively have eggs, you will passively have veggies. It's very important. So that's the first trick for the houses. And second, that's something which is not especially obvious, but when you create your patch, it automatically divide your house plot, but you can increase or decrease the size of the plot. And the other advice I have for you is to increase the size until you have a secondary house in between a shed and a secondary house, because it will allow more people to live on this patch of land. So that's the two advice I have for you on that front. And very much anno mechanic. You can upgrade your house if you fulfill a certain amount of needs for religion, for resources, and things like this. Then, fourth and likely last advice of today, when you move to the RTS part of the game, which is, like I said, a total war, more or less, right? It's a total war, but right, it's not especially at this time. It's an alpha, so it's nicely made, but it's not fully there yet. You have to understand again the very realistic part of the game is you need to equip your people to go to war, which needs your people will need a shield, armor, a spear. You'll need weapons. And of course, early in the game, you don't have a blacksmith, so you can't make your own weapons or armor. So you have to remember that you need to buy them, you need to import them. Because if you don't do that, maybe the first attack of bandits will be fine. The second one, you're not gonna make it. Remember this, because even though the game is separated, the map of the game is separated in different plot of lands, right, for different areas, and you will have to get areas from your neighbors through war to expand and have more resources, etc., etc. The people going to war are your men. Remember, I told you that you have families and not character. Your family is being the guy usually doing the production, saying cutting wood or something, or I don't know, hunting animals. And the lady is gonna take the produce of the man's work and go to the market to sell it. In war, your men are gonna go to war, no women, just the men, right? And if a battle goes south, even if you win it, but you have a lot of loss, remember that all the guys that you lost, they're not gonna go back to cut wood, right? They're dead, that's gone. So be very careful with this because each and every soldier that you have on your army, economy back in the village. So if a battle seems very tough, do not hesitate to spend money and hire mercenaries. 'Cause if mercenaries dies, you don't care. They're not the one working your economy back in the village. If your guys dies, not gonna lie, it's gonna be very tough for you to keep up with the game. So that's the early game, I would say, tips and tricks that I have for you. Try it. It's again, it's an early alpha game, and the guy is by himself, so the patch might be a bit slow. But it's a very beautiful, very fun game to play. If you like city builders, if you like medieval city builders, a bit like Anno, that's something that I highly recommend. Anno plus Total War, that's a very good mix, and I can't wait to see a final version of it. So make sure to wishlist it on Steam. It was on sale not too long ago, so it is gonna be on sale not in the spring sale or something like this maybe. But really, it's something that I recommend, and yeah, really try it.